Welcome to another episode of Fit and Healthy After 50. I'm Doneane, and today we're going to talk about meal prep. Now, this is something that I am very passionate about, and I make it a part of my weekly routine that I prep my meals for the coming week. And we're talking breakfast, lunch, dinners, and snacks. So that when it's time to walk out the door for a busy day, all I have to do is grab what's already been prepared and packaged and ready to heat up and eat on the go or eat at the office or wherever I may happen to be during the day. And the other thing that's great about it is that when you come home after that busy day, you've already got your dinners prepped as well. I mean, who wants to spend 30 minutes to an hour in the kitchen cooking dinner after you've been at work all day long? So you can do meal prep for you by yourself, or you can do it for you and your spouse or your partner. You can actually do it for the entire family. It really just depends on your planning and your preparation. So let me tell you how I do it. I typically prep for myself and my husband. Our kids are grown, and the two of us lead very busy lives. And so on Saturdays, that's my prep day. And I've gotten it down to where I can get everything done in about 4 hours, and that includes the shopping. So I start out at our local farmers market and get all of the good local produce and fresh range-free eggs, and sometimes they even have some chicken or turkey. It really just depends on the season and which of the farmers are actually there. So I pick up everything that I can at the farmers market and then head over to the grocery store to get those things that I wasn't able to purchase at the farmers market. And then I come home and I start chopping, prepping, cooking, let everything cool down, and then I package it all up and put half of it in the refrigerator for the early part of the week, and then the other half goes into the freezer for the later part of the week. And then I also make salads in a jar, and I'm going to show you how to make those as well. So I've already done all of my cooking for the week, and I'm going to show you a couple of really helpful appliances and some things that will be a good time saver for you as well. This is a stackable steamer. It's made by Oster, and it only costs maybe 40 bucks, and I've had it for a long time. But I know that they're still available because I've seen them at local department stores. This is a huge time saver. This stackable steamer will cook your protein on the bottom and then your vegetables in the top. And you can load this thing up. I've put an entire chicken in it before. I've loaded up chicken and fish at the same time. I've loaded, this has some chicken breasts in the bottom and broccoli in the top, but this is deep enough where you can put all kinds of stuff in here. I've had several different layers of vegetables in here at one time. So in about 30 minutes, you've got 4 good-sized chicken breasts already cooked. You've got your vegetables already done. And then I did a few other things too. Like, we really like salmon. Wild caught salmon is best. So I broiled about 4 fillets of salmon. I like to put these on a salad for lunch, and that goes along with the salads in the jar. Then I also made, and this is really, really interesting, this is tofu, mushroom, and onions. Now, if you've never cooked tofu before, first of all, the best way to cook it is to get the firm tofu because it holds together really well. But tofu actually absorbs the flavor of whatever you cook it with. So if you cook it with onions, it's going to have an onion flavor. If you cook it with garlic, it'll have a garlic flavor. So for me, it's just a nice garnish to a chicken breast, or you can mix it in with your vegetables, and it's going to give you that good fermented soy that is good for us. So let's go ahead and see what is in the steamer. And this is just really convenient. It just all comes apart. And I love these little divided Tupperwares that you can get. I've got several different sizes here. I use the larger ones for my husband, and then these little smaller ones are for me. But these are great because you can load it up with your chicken breast. Now let's talk about portion size, because these chicken breasts are a pretty good size. So for me, one of them is a little bit too much. So a half of this chicken breast would be a serving. You want to look at your serving size, look at the palm of your hand, just your palm. You want it to be the size of your palm and about as tall as a deck of cards. So this chicken breast will be for 2 meals for me. So I've got my chicken breast. I'm going to put a little bit of my tofu and mushrooms and onions along with it. And then from the top of the steamer, we've got this wonderful steamed broccoli. Now, another really cool thing about this steamer is that as it cooks the chicken, it has a reservoir below that will gather the juice that comes from the chicken. So you can actually spoon some of that up if you want to do a brown rice or a sweet potato, and then you can just spoon that wonderful juice right over your chicken breast. So this little contraption here has been a huge time saver for me. I've used it for years and I've never had any trouble with it, and I absolutely love it because it really does save a whole lot of time. So there's one packaged meal right there, and I'll end up doing 4 of these for me and 4 for my husband. We'll put, you know, the early part of the week will go in the refrigerator because we're going to eat those Monday or Tuesday, and then the other ones we'll put in the freezer so that they'll keep a little bit better towards the end of the week. And then I've got my salmon fillets here that we'll use for our salads. Now you might think that spending all this time in the kitchen on a Saturday is really a drag. Well, I feel like I've gotten it down to a science. And like I said, I can get all of this done in about 4 hours, but I've been doing this for years. So it takes a while for you to kind of get the hang of it and get in the routine and, you know, figuring out where you need to go to get all of your groceries together and save as much time and money as you can when you shop. And then as soon as you come home, go ahead and get the prepping, the chopping, all of the preparatory work for cooking, get that done. And then get you something like this steamer, or if you like to do crock pot recipes, there's all kinds of recipes for a crock pot dish that will last you for several meals for the week. So having something like this that can cook a whole lot at one time, not only your proteins, but also your vegetables, is a huge time saver. And plus, you don't have every pot in the kitchen and every burner on the stove going at the same time. So look for this. You can find it in most department stores. And it is made by Oster. If you can't find it in the store, go online. I actually ordered one online for my daughter for Christmas a couple of years ago. So this is just a really great time saver. And it's very easy to clean up. It is dishwasher safe. And it is just one of my favorite kitchen gadgets. So we've got that, and I'll package up all that other stuff a little bit later. But I want to show you another really cool recipe that is a time saver, and it's really good for breakfast, or you can have it as a good protein snack. Now, I call these turkey muffins, and basically what they are, they're turkey meatballs, or it's almost like a meatloaf recipe, and I make them into basically muffins and put a little bit of olive oil in the muffin tin and then put these in there. I usually make 2 or 3 dozen of these because 2 of these muffins are an excellent breakfast with maybe a scrambled egg or a boiled egg. Or you can eat these as a good protein snack. 2 of these make for a wonderful snack mid-morning or mid-afternoon. The recipe is super easy. And like I said, it's just like a meatball or a meatloaf recipe. But the trick to this is to make it very nutrient dense. So my recipe has ground up broccoli, ground up spinach, ground up mushrooms, ground up garbanzo beans, some breadcrumbs, whole grain breadcrumbs. So it's very dense, and they're very heavy, and they're very filling. They do take a little bit longer to cook because they have all this other stuff in it. And if you want my recipe, if you will go on the WBTVN website and click on host, and then click on my host page, every way that you can possibly contact me is there. Email, Facebook, Twitter. So if you will send me an email, or if you'll hit me up with a private Facebook message, I will be glad to send you my recipe for turkey balls. But if you already have your own recipe for meatloaf or for some type of meatballs, you just want to add those other nutrient dense things into it so that it's got some fiber, and it's going to be heavier, and it's going to last you for a while. So these are super, super easy, very convenient, good for a breakfast or for a snack. Now, let's talk about salads. Oh, and one more thing before we leave these. These go great in these little Ziploc kind of snack size bags. 2 of them, pop them in your Ziplocs, throw them in one of the drawers in the refrigerator, and then you've got a grab-and-go snack or a grab-and-go breakfast for when mornings can get kind of crazy. So let's talk about salads in a jar. This is one of my favorite things to do. And a lot of people are skeptical about this because they think, well, if you make a salad on Monday, is it really going to be good on Friday? Well, my answer is yeah, but the trick is how you load your jar makes a big difference in how fresh your salad stays. Now, what I do is I save jars. Anytime I have something that comes in a mason jar, or like maybe a salsa, or if I picked up something like a homemade jam or something at the farmer's market, or even these jars that these banana peppers are in, this is the perfect size to make a salad in a jar. So as you empty out olive jars and pickle jars and things like that, think about keeping them so that you can use them for your salads in a jar. So these are just some that I picked up. I think one of them might have been an empty local honey that I had picked up at the farmer's market. And another one, this one says fig jam, so that was something that I got from a friend probably. And I think this is an empty coconut oil jar from the grocery store. So you want to start out with the things that are the hardest and put them on the bottom. So if you like little cherry tomatoes, which I love these little organic cherry tomatoes, you want to load those into the bottom. And the reason that you want to put your hard stuff on the bottom is that when you drizzle your dressing on top, it's going to go all the way down to the bottom. And if you put your lettuce on the bottom, it's going to sit in that dressing all week long and it's going to get kind of wilted. So you want to make sure that you put your harder, denser stuff on the bottom. These are black Kalamata olives, Greek olives, which I absolutely love. And then I'm going to put some capers. I love capers. They're nice and salty and give just a little zing to your salad. And I also like to put these on top of those salmon fillets that I made. So just a few capers. And then the banana peppers. Oh, this is a new jar. It might not want to open too easy. Well, okay, we'll hold off on the banana peppers. And then some green onions. Or, you know, any kind of, you can really make this salad any way you want to. I mean, there's no right or wrong. If you wanted to add feta cheese, if you wanted to add some, maybe some grated all-natural cheddar cheese, some mild cheddar, just whatever you like in your salads, you can load into your salad in a jar. And then this is organic baby spinach. And this is going to be the last thing that we put in because we want it to be on top so that it doesn't stay drenched in your salad dressing all week long. And you can use anything here. You can use romaine lettuce, you can use kale, arugula, just whatever you like in your salad, you load it into your salad in a jar. And you can really pack these full. I know these jars look kind of small, but when you really start to pack the baby spinach or the lettuce in, you would be surprised how much you can get into these jars. In fact, I've already used about half of this little thing of baby spinach here. Okay, so I've got my jars loaded up, except for my banana peppers. Now, let me tell you about a really easy recipe for a homemade dressing that is going to be all natural, and it's not going to be loaded with calories. It's not going to have any preservatives or artificial colors in it. Now, this is another example of the bottles that I save. Anytime that I have balsamic vinegar, or if I have a glass bottle that I've had olive oil in, I will save that bottle because it's perfect for making this salad dressing. Now, this is equal parts of balsamic vinegar, olive oil, extra virgin, and local honey. So equal parts, and you just, you know, most of these bottles have the little plastic drizzle thing in the top. So just pop that out, put your funnel in, load in your ingredients, put that little piece back in, and then shake it up. Now this will separate. It does not need to be refrigerated. You can keep it up in your spice cabinet or next to the stove, but it will separate when it sits, so you need to shake it up. And then this dressing you really don't need a whole lot of because it's got a really bold flavor to it. So I just drizzle a little bit across the top, and it's going to flow through all of the baby spinach that's on top. And it's going to go down and rest in the bottom where I put all of that hard stuff, the tomatoes and the onions and the olives. So those will sit in the dressing and they won't get wilted or soft or anything like that. And then you just want to seal them back up. And then you just pop these in the refrigerator. And they will keep for the whole week. Now, I've made 5 or 6 of these at a time. And number 6 that I ate on Friday evening at dinner was just as fresh as number 1 that I ate on Monday at maybe snack time or at lunchtime. And that's because you load them with your lettuce on top so it doesn't wilt. And you want to make sure that you really seal the jar tight. That's why I like using the glass jars, especially the mason jars that have the little inner lid. Because they do tend to seal really well, and sometimes Tupperwares, or if you put them in a Ziploc bag, too much air will get in, and then it does kind of get wilted, and the ones that you eat at the end of the week aren't quite as fresh. So that is a huge time saver also. So get you something like this, a steamer, stackable steamer, or a crock pot, or just something that will allow you to make multiple meals at one time and not load up every pot in the kitchen. And you want to make sure that you're getting good protein, which should be your lean cuts of red meat if you eat red meat, your lean cuts of chicken and turkey, and you want to try to stay towards the white meat of both of those. And look on the label of your proteins. Make sure that if you're getting red meat, that it is grass-fed, that it's range-free. And when you look at the poultry, either the chicken or the turkey, the same thing. You want to make sure that it is cage-free, range-free, and know your companies, because cage-free doesn't always mean that they are allowed to actually go out and roam on the grass like chickens and turkeys should. So know your companies, do some research, and make sure that what their label says is actually what you want to purchase. And then you want to have your vegetables. The more vegetables, the better for your heart health, and the more colors that you can get of your vegetables, the better. So if you like the darker colored vegetables like eggplant and the dark green leafy vegetables, that's great. So make sure that you cook enough of your vegetables so that you are getting a serving at lunch, at dinner, and often for your snacks during the week as well. Then you want to get your little Tupperwares that have the dividers in it. And the reason that I suggest these is that instead of having to take several different Tupperwares, you've got your chicken in one and your broccoli in another and your tofu mix in another, these are just really convenient because you can load up everything into one and you only have to grab one container when you are packing your bag for the day with your snacks and whatever meal it is that you're going to have to eat on the go. So look for these in your local grocery store. And again, if you don't find them in the store, you can always find them online. And then the turkey balls. If you want this recipe, again, hit me up. Go to my host page on the WBTVN site and click on my email address. You can send me an email or you can contact me through Facebook. And then the last thing was our salads in a jar. Whatever you want to put in your salad is great. Just make sure that whatever lettuce you use, whatever leafy green you use, that you load that on top. And then our recipe for the balsamic vinaigrette, honey vinaigrette, equal parts of olive oil, red wine balsamic vinegar, and local honey. Now, local honey is important because if you have seasonal allergies, local honey will help with those. So equal parts, save your old olive oil and balsamic vinegar bottles, and you can just pop off the top, load this up, and remember, this does not need to be refrigerated. You can keep it out, keep it on the counter or in your spice pantry, and just make sure that you shake it well before you use it. So that's my meal prep, and I promise you I can get it all done, including the shopping, in less than 4 hours. And I plan all week long for what my meals are going to be for the next week so that my grocery list is ready to go. If you are able to take advantage of online grocery shopping, there's a number of different stores that offer that now, where you can order your groceries online and you either go and pick them up and they just put them in the car for you, or they're actually delivered to your door. So if you can take advantage of that, that is also a time saver. If you have a local farmer's market, take advantage of it. Ours runs from February all the way through December, weather depending. So we're just going to have a couple of more months of our farmer's market, and then they'll take a couple of months off. So if you have one in your area, take advantage of it. If you've never been to it, just take an hour or two whenever it is meeting. They usually meet on the weekends, and just go out and see what they have. You might be surprised. At this time of the year, you're going to find things like squash, cabbage is starting to come in. Some of the growers down here in Southeast Texas still have cucumbers and okra and tomatoes. So you'll be surprised at what you might be able to find at your local farmer's market. So take advantage of that. Plan all of your meals, decide what you need, decide how many you need. If you're cooking just for yourself for the week, or if you've got you and your spouse, or if you've got some kids, and just make a plan and start working your plan and stick to it. And I promise you, you will want to meal prep every week because of the amount of time that it saves. And it actually saves you money too, because you end up not wasting a lot of food. When you cook all these meals and you package them up, chances are y'all are going to be grabbing them out of the refrigerator when it's time to go to work, or when you come home from a busy day and you just really don't feel like standing in the kitchen and preparing another meal. Hey, they're already done and they're packaged and waiting for you just to heat them up. So I hope that you have found this episode helpful, and I hope to see you again. And in the meantime, reach out to me if you want the recipe for the turkey balls, or if you have any questions about any health or fitness related topic. I'll be glad to visit with you. So I'll see you next time.